Yeah. So good morning. So let me show my PPT. So all of you can see my PPT, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in the last class we discussed the geophysical methods, right? So coming to the geophysical methods, yeah. In the geophysical methods, we have discussed two types of tests. Okay. So one is seismic refraction test, and another one is resistivity survey. Okay. So in the seismic refraction test, what we will do, we will put certain geophones. Okay, so geophones some will look like something like this. Okay, so you see this, these are the geophones. Okay, so this is the survey has been done in the basement of your Gol Gumbaj. Okay, so the Gol Gumbaj is there, no, in that basement I have done this survey. So these are the geophones. You see these red dots are there, no, at the certain interval we have kept the geophones. This is the geode. Okay, so this geode will record the arrival of those waves. Okay, so the person you can see here. Okay, so this person is hitting with hammer on the ground. Okay, so that he is producing some waves. Okay, so those waves are picked up by these geophones. Okay, so these geophones are in turn connected to this geode, and there is a laptop here. Okay, so in that laptop it will show me the at what time the waves have been reached at a different at a different interval of time. Okay, so those data I will get it in the computer. Okay, so from that computer, if I plot the graph, then I will get something like this. This curve I will get. Hmm? So this is the curve which is source to receiver distance it is. Okay, so you see here I am hitting with some hammer. Hmm? With hammer I am hitting, and the waves are propagating like this. So here I have a geophones, right? So here I have geophones. So the distance from your source of input to the geophone, this one, is first distance d1. Like that you have to take all the distance, you should know all the distances. Huh? So those distances will be your x-axis, and y-axis will be your the arrival time of those waves at a particular geophones. Okay, so those are the time of a first wave arrival in milliseconds. Okay, so because the waves will flow, will pass very fast. Okay, so in milliseconds you will get. Hmm? So the first the slope of this line is there, no? So there are how many slopes are there? You see, this is the one slope, and this is the second slope. This is the second slope, and this is the third slope. Hmm? This line is the third slope. That means it is having three layers of soil layers. Hmm? So if you get only two slopes, then you may suggest that there are only two layers of soils are there. Okay, now what is the next step? Somebody in my WhatsApp group, they asked a question, so how to get this velocity? Hmm? So this velocity is nothing but these are the slopes of these particular straight lines. Okay, so suppose the velocity v1, how I will get, you take a slope of this line. Hmm? So theta, tan inverse of your opposite by adjacent, will give me the slope of line AB. That if you inverse it, I will get v1 velocity. Similarly, now for the uh, velocity in the second layer, how I will get that one? Simply you take the slope of this line. Slope of this line if you take, then we will get the velocity in the second layer. Then how you will get the velocity in the third layer? So again, take the slope of this line, take the slope, and then inverse it. Then I will get the velocity in the third layer. Okay, so this is layer 1, and this is layer 2, and this is layer So any doubt till now how to get the velocity, because some students have asked the question in the WhatsApp, they messaged me. So they could not understood, they are not able to understand how to get these velocities. Okay, so now I hope it is clear. Okay, so velocities are nothing but just to take the slope of those particular straight lines and then inverse it. Inverse that, then I will get the velocities. Okay, so once you get the velocity, then how to get the depths of these layers. Okay, so to calculate the depths, simply you use this formula and substitute the particular v1 v2 everything, you put it. How you got v1 v2? By taking the slope. Okay, so how you got this d1 value? D1 is nothing but wherever they meet, no, these two different slope lines will meet, that point is my d1. Okay, so just a minute. Yeah. So this d1, how I will get d1 is nothing but this one. Okay, so the meeting point of this straight line and this straight line is my d1. Okay, how to get this d2? D2 is nothing but the meeting point of this straight line and this straight line. This one my d2. Now, wherever the slope changes, no, that point is d1 and d2. Okay, so substitute those in these equations, then I will get the thickness of soil layers. Yeah, you see, this is the problem I told. So how some people asked how I got this v1 and v2. So this is nothing but v1 is nothing but slope of this line, and v2 is nothing but the slope of this line. Then you take the inverse of those slopes. I will get v1 and v2. And how I got this d1 value? D1 is nothing but the meeting point of these straight lines. This is first straight line. This is second straight line, and this is first straight line. Wherever they meet, no, that corresponding x-axis ordinate is my d1. So this kind of problems will be asked. I will show in the later stage of my lecture, where for 10 marks they ask this question in the examinations. So if you have any doubt, please ask me right now. This is very important concept. Okay, so definitely they will ask you either a theory or a problem. They will ask based on this. Any doubts are there regarding the seismic refraction method? Yesterday someone messaged me, who is that? Sahana Osmani. Are you there, Sahana Osmani? Hello? Sahana Osmani, are you there? Any doubts are there till now in this seismic refraction? Hello? Sir, understood. Okay. Okay, shall I continue still? Okay. So the next method was the electrical resistivity method. Okay, so in the electrical resistivity, what we will do, we'll drive four metal rods. Okay, so last two metal rods through that we will pass the current. Okay, we'll pass the current, and then we will see how much potential drop is happening across the inner two electrodes. Okay, by measuring those potential drop and the current, I can calculate the resistivity of the soil strata. Okay, so if you keep on placing these rods little far away, then we can able to penetrate the larger depth. Okay, so suppose for this configuration I got maybe I will get a depth of say around 5 meter. Okay, now I want to see still further down what is there. Then what I have to do, I have to increase the spacing, then I can get the resistivity beyond that 5 meter depth also. Okay, so like that we have to keep on uh, placing these rods far away from each other, so that I can penetrate to a larger depth and I can explore the soil for a larger depth. So this thing also we have seen. Okay, so coming to the last topic of this last concept of this topic, that is depth of groundwater table. Hmm? Okay, so the depth of groundwater table also a very important concept, because the presence of water table will influence the bearing capacity or structural performance, everything. It will affect my structure's stability. Okay, so that's why it is at most important for us to know where the water table is present. Okay, so how to determine the water table? Simplest thing is you look for some any uh, these wells. Okay, so if you have any nearby well is present nearby your site, then it is very easy to find out the groundwater table. Simply you take the measurement from the ground level, at what depth the water is present. Okay, so you simply drop some measuring wire, so that you will get the depth of water table. Okay, what if you don't have any open wells? Huh? If you don't have open wells, then how to find out the groundwater table? So if you don't have any open well, then what do you do? Whatever the borehole, for the boreholes you have drilled a hole, no? From that also I can find out the water table. How I can find out? Simply what you do, if you have a coarse grained soil, hmm, if you have a coarse grained soil, then simply you again the same concept how you did in the open well, no? Like that you insert some measuring wire from your from the ground level. So you tie some stone to your thread. Okay, so you insert inside the bore well. You will hear the sound when that stone is reaching the water surface. Okay, so with that sound, then now you remove the entire wire and then measure the distance. Okay, that is the very simplest method to find out the groundwater table. Okay, so this is holds good in coarse grained soil, because coarse grained soils are the permeability of the coarse grained soil is very high. So within 24 hours of your drilling a borehole, the borehole will get stabilized and the water table will be accurately you can measure it. But in case of fine grained soil, the depth of water table is a little bit tricky question, because your borehole will not be stabilized so easily within 24 or 48 hours. Okay, so it will take a longer time. So that's why we have to measure certain distances for at least 3 to 4 days. Then only we can able to assess accurately the depth of a water table. Okay, so that's why Overslow. See, this Overslow given method, he has proposed a certain method to find out the water table in the borehole. The water table can be located in the borehole used for the soil investigation by Overslow method. He proposed this theory in 1949. According to this, the borehole should have the same casing to stabilize the site. Okay, so this is the casing pipe and this is the borehole. And the borehole should have the casing to stabilize the site. The method normally used is rising water level method for determining the water table locations. Okay. This method, most commonly referred to as the time lag method, consists of a bailing the water out of the casing and observing the rate of rise of water table in the casing at an interval of time until the rise of water table becomes negligible. Okay, so what this method essentially is, suppose this is the borehole and up to here there is a water level. Okay, now what you do, you bail out all the water. Whatever water is there, everything you bail out. Then you observe this rise in the water table. Suppose on you have bailed out all this water. All this water. Now my level is here. My water table level is here during first day of my observation. T naught is my first day of observation. Okay, come second day you come and then you got the this much water is risen in the borehole. Okay, now come on the, this is the 0th day. This is first day, this is second day, and this is third day. So in the first day I got this much rise, in the second day I got this much rise, and in the third day I got this much rise in the this borehole. Okay, so you measure those rises. Measure those rises, but you can't measure these rises actually. How? But you can measure from the ground level. This is my first level, and from the ground level this is my second day level, on third day this is my level, and fourth day this is my level. Like that you have to measure for at least 3 to 4 days that rise in the waters. Then from those rises I can find out what will be the actual groundwater level. How I can find out, I will explain in the coming slides. The rate is observed by measuring the elapsed time and the depth of water surface below the top of the casing pipe. Let the time T naught when the water table was at a depth of D naught. Okay, so here at time T0, this is the depth of water table from the stabilized groundwater level. Similarly, at time T1 at time T2 D3 are my depth of water table from the stabilized groundwater level. Okay, like that you have to take a measurement. Then once you got those measurements from the top, then I can find out what is my H1, what is my H2, and what is my H3. I can find out. H1 is the rise in water level from first 0th day to first day. H2 is the rise in water level from first day to second day. H3 is the rise in water table from second day to third day. Okay, so T1 minus T2, T1 minus T naught, T2 minus T1, T3 minus T2 is constant. Delta T is constant here. What is this delta T? Delta T maybe 24 hours. Okay, once you know these, then the depth of observed water level below the stabilized groundwater, how you have to calculate. These things you have to calculate: D naught, D1, and D2. These things you should calculate. How I can calculate? D0 is nothing but D0 is nothing but H1 square divided by H1 minus H2. D1 is nothing but again H2 square divided by H1 minus H2, and D2 is nothing but H3 square divided by H2 minus H3. Like that I have to calculate these dimensions. Okay, these are the nothing but the depth of water table from the stabilized groundwater level. Okay, so this is the stabilized groundwater level. Those things I should calculate. Then observations are continued until sufficient estimates of locations of the stabilized groundwater level have been made. So like this you have to take few more until you will get D0, D1, D2. some same number. Either same number should come, or little bit variation also is acceptable. Okay, so I will solve one problem. So there actual problem it is. So there it will be more clearer for you how to calculate this D0, D1, D2, D3, everything, and how at what depth I should stop, and how I can how I will get the final depth of water table. Okay. Now, once I got this D0, D1, D2, how I got these things? These things can be determined from these formulas. Okay. Once I got these D0, D1, D2, then simply use these formula. Okay. These formula dW1, dW2, dW3, what are there now? These are the, see, these D0, D1, D2 are from the stabilized groundwater level, but to stabilize groundwater level still now we don't know. Here I have put here just for the reference sake, but this is not the actual stabilized groundwater level. Okay, so always we will measure from the ground level, right? This is the ground level. So to get that one, again I should use these three formulas, so that I will get the depth of water table from the ground level. Okay, so these are the depth of water table from the some imaginary reference line here. Okay, so this imaginary reference line I don't know where it is, right? So but I know this one ground level, I know this is fixed, but this is not fixed. So this is the fixed. So always I have to take the reading from the fixed reference point. Okay, so that's why I have to take from this one. So now from D0, D1, D2, how I will get this DW? So this DW for the first observation, DW for the second observation, DW for the third observation. Okay, so DW for the first observation is DW1. So DW for the second observation is the DW2. DW for the third observation is DW3. So these things can be taken from DW1 is nothing but DW1 is nothing but HW minus D0. D0 anyway I know this one. What is HW? HW is nothing but this is the HW. When you started the experiment, no? When you started the experiment, what was the depth of water table? So when I started experiment, this was the depth of water table, right? So this is my HW. This is my HW. So how I will get the DW? DW is nothing but HW minus D0. HW minus D0. Similarly, what is the DW for the second observation? For the second observation, again this HW minus this H1 minus H2 minus D1. I will get DW2. And what is the DW for the third observation? HW, again same HW minus H1 plus H2 plus H3 minus of this D2. I will get my D3. Okay, like that DW1, DW2, DW3 I should get. Okay, so see here, HW is the depth of water table in the casing from the ground surface at the start of the test. Okay, once you get this DW1, DW2, DW3, no, then take the average of DW1, DW2, DW3 will give me the depth of water table. Okay, so normally DW1 equal to DW2 equal to DW3 equal to DW. If not, then take the average. Okay, once again I will explain in this Ohm's method. Okay, so this is applicable in fine grained soil. Okay, so that is the first point. Second thing, first what you have to do, okay, you bail out all the water, whatever water is present in the ground. No, you with the help of some motor you remove all the water. Okay, so on the 0th day, 0th day means starting of the test. The water table was here. I will take the reading from that one. Then, so I will come next day. I will come and I will check this much is the rise in the water table. This is the 0th day. 0th day. This is first day, second day, third day, and second day this much is the rise. Third day this much is the rise. Then what is the depth of water table? I should know. So these are the all temporary. Okay, so these will fluctuate. Sometimes they will go up, or sometimes they will come down. Okay, so that's why I need some constant depth of water table. So to find out that one, what I have to do first, you take these all the three measurements you have done. Okay, now once you've taken that one, now you take one imaginary stabilized groundwater level. Okay, so from that level I should get I should know the depth of water table. Okay, so D0, D1, D2 you calculate. You calculate from these formula. Once I get these D0, D1, D2, now these are the depths of water table from the some imaginary line, but I want to find out the depth of water table from the ground level. From the ground level I should calculate. Okay, to calculate that one, these formula I should use. Once I use this formula, I will get a depth of water table from the first observation. This is the second observation. This is the third observation. You take the observation, maybe some 4 or 5 observations you can take, and take the average of that. So that average of whatever the average value will get, that is the actual depth of water table. So we will see this problem. Okay, so then whatever this concept, see, if you look at the first instance, this looks little bit confusing. Okay, so what he is telling you may be thinking. Okay, but if you see this problem, then it will be more clear for you. Always with some numbers, if you have, no, then it is easy to understand the concepts. Okay, that's why I am putting this problem. Okay, even though if you have did not understood this concept, don't worry. But coming to this problem, okay, so you check this problem. Okay, then go back to that theoretical portion. Okay, let us discuss this problem. Okay, this problem is based on same that whatever Ohm's method only. The following water level were recorded at an interval of 24 hours in a borehole in a coastal soil. Always this method is applicable in coastal soil. Okay, so the depth of water level from the surface. So first day, 0th day, what was the depth of water table? 8.62 meter. On the first day, next day, 7.74, 7.07, 6.57, 6.18, 5.8, like that. Different depths we have measured from the ground level. Okay, calculate the estimated stabilized groundwater level they are asking. Now look at this figure. Look at this figure first. So here, this is the ground level. Okay, so from this ground level, this is the ground level. First day, 0th day, he has taken the reading. What was the depth? 8.62 meter. Okay. So this is 8.62 meter. 8.62 meter. Wait a minute, I will open in some other application, then it will be, for writing, it will be useful for me. Okay. I'll come to that problem. Whatever problem we are discussing on that, to that problem when I come. Okay. So first day, what was the depth I got? How much depth of water table? 8.62 meter. 8.62 meter. Okay. On the second day, what is the depth I got? 7.74 meter. On the third day, on the third day, 7.07. 7.07 meter. Okay. On the this is 0th day, first day, second day, third day, fourth day, and this is the fifth day. 0, 1, 2. This is third day. Third day is somewhere here. What is the depth? 6.57 meter. Like that, I have taken the measurements. Now they are asking you to find out the stabilized groundwater level. Where is this stabilized groundwater level from the ground level? This is the ground level. They are asking that one. Okay, let us start the problem. Okay, so first what I have to do, I have to calculate these parameters, h1, h2, h3. I have to calculate. How I will calculate h1, h2? H1 is nothing but 8.62 minus 7.74 will give me h1. Similarly, h2 is nothing but 7.74 minus 7.07. This one. And h3, h4, h5. Like that, I have to calculate each incremental height of the water level. I should calculate. First step. First step, what you should do, calculate rise in water level in the borehole. Okay, for each observation, what is the rise? That is small h1, h2, h3. These things you should calculate first step. Okay, then what is the second step? Second step, I should calculate these d0, d1, d2. Those are the depths of nothing. Those are nothing but the depth of water from water level from the imaginary stabilized groundwater level. So d0, d1, d2, d3. How many observations are there? 5, no? So that means up to 4 depths I will get. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 observations are there. 4 depths I will get. 0, d4. Okay. So d0, how you will get d0? D0 is nothing but, you remember the formula? h1 square divided by h1 minus h2. Remember this formula. This formula. h1 square divided by h1 minus h2, h2 square divided by h1 minus h2, h3 square divided by h2 minus h3, like that. d0, d1 is what? Again, h2 square divided by h1 minus h2, d3 is equal to same h3 square divided by h3 square divided by h2 minus h3, and d4 is equal to h4 square divided by h3 H3 minus H4. Like that. So like that you have to calculate all these D0, D1, D2, D3, D4, like that I have to calculate. Okay. So once I got these values, D0, these are the nothing but the depth of water table from the imaginary stabilized groundwater level. But I have to find out from the fixed reference line. The fixed reference line here is the ground level. Okay. So from the ground level, if I want to calculate, then again what I have to do, I have to use this formula. I have to use this formula. I should use this formula. Then you substitute the values. I will get the estimation on the first day, estimation on the second day, estimation on the third day, estimation on the fourth day, estimation on the fifth day. I will get. Okay, with the 4.93, 4.93, 5.1, 4.8, 5. So either they should be same. If they are different, no, then what you have to take? You take the average of this one. Okay, so you add how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You add up all these 5, divide by 5. If you do that one, I will get average 4.97, 4.96. Okay, so this is the depth of water table from the ground level. From ground level. Understood, no? Any doubt here? This is also very important concept. Okay, so problems have been asked based on this concept also in the examination. Either they can ask you a theory or they may ask you a problem. Any doubt here? No? Yes? Prashant Jadhav, any doubts? Prashant, are you there, Prashant? Priyadarshini?
No doubt, sir.
I have understood Olds method.
Okay.
So there will be a theory question or a problem they will ask based on these method. So anyway, you have the PPT. Okay, so I have put this problem in the PPT. Take a pen and paper and try to solve this. Understood this problem, try to understand. Then we will go to the one examination problem. We will solve the one examination problem also in the coming class. Okay, so we are almost towards the end of this topic. So last thing is soil investigation report. Okay, so till now what you did, you have carried out all the tests you have done. Okay, so all the tests you have done, you know what is the type of soil below the ground, but how you will convey this message to your structural counterpart. So ultimately he will design the structure, no? So to convey that message, you have to prepare a report. So what are the findings you have got from this soil investigation? Those you make a report and submit to the structural engineer or some design engineer who is going to look at those parameters, and then based on those parameters he will decide whether a particular structure is sufficient, is require a shallow foundation, or whether it require any special foundations like a raft or under like a pile raft, pile foundation. These are the different foundation systems are available. So based on this report, he can design the structure. Okay. The soil exploration report is generally consists of the following things. What are those? First, introduction, which gives a scope of investigation.
Sir.
Description. Sorry. Yeah, tell me. Someone?
Sir, another class is there.
Another class is there right now. Should I stop here?
Sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.